to the third chapter with Kayrnix. Today I will begin with some comments that will be left for later. Apprentice Malora, in thanks. What you did for me, moving against Lord Renning, was risky and took vision. The overseers are beginning to talk. Soon the Dark Council will see my master for the lunatic that he is. Now I hurry you close to completing your trials. I've sent a small gift, a sign of respect and thanks. Never let it be said that I was slow to see this next Sith Lord in the making. Be well, Sith, and remember me later, Malora. 50 credits. I think there are some mail items that were used to be received that are now removed, and you often get mails telling you that they're giving you a gift but there's nothing attached. Fine, no match for Vemrin. I failed you, friend. The acolytes and I promised would eliminate Vemrin, but he proved too strong. Putin died instantly. I still hear his screams. Vemrin got to me too. I only just woke from my coma, and the doctor said I won't work for months. Lying here, I've learned to own my agony. I realize why you sent us after Vemrin. You knew he'd kill us or make us stronger. Tina was weak, but I survived, and I might be crippled for now. My head gives me my strength. For that, I thank you. And Kayrnix says, damn, I didn't want any of them to survive. Okay, so what it happens is that this game is nowadays quite easier than it was at the start of the game, and even from where it was when I started playing, like 2 years after its release, when it was already free to play. And you see, always there's a lot of complaints in every MMO, especially the old ones, about people saying in the old times leveling up was much harder and more challenging, and now it is very easy. And in general, you can also see in forums and comments about games the agreement with that complaint. Games are too easy now, and MMOs are getting much easier than they were before. SWTOR is much easier than it was at first. WoW is easier than it was at first, and so on and so forth. And sooner or later you will probably hear it with Final Fantasy 14, or perhaps not, because to be honest it's not hard, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm sure it is true. Enemies are made easier to defeat. Leveling is made to be done faster. But what people don't realize is that MMOs have all a problem that will that the developers need to face sooner or later during its life. When it's at the first days, you have such a level cap, and players are starting from nothing. And so everybody is at the same level more or less. Some will play better, some will play worse, some play more, some play less time, and so not everybody is going to be at the same level, but mostly there will be a reasonable difference between each of them. If you are a player and have a friend that you want to introduce to the game, you might be the level cap is low and well, it's not hard to talk with him, play with him as he catches up to your level, or get him to the maximum level within a more or less reasonable amount of time. And so the game is made to be challenging at first. The leveling is hard. And there's a chest here. And no problems happen from it. But then you get expansions, the level cap is raised. Now instead of being at say level 30 or level 40 or 50, you are at level 90, 100, 120. If now you want to bring a friend, it will take him ages to catch up to the same level as you have, and to be able to play in the same content that you do, and you then can't really be having fun with your friend. One way in which you can solve that is with the level cap, the boosts, the items that raise some characters level straight out to maximum level, to cap level. SWTOR channels the force into your lightsaber and crosses your target under its weight, instantly dealing some internal damage with a further bigger internal damage over 12 seconds. And because blade turning the first 2 seconds of safe ward grants 100% melee and ranged defense. Speeder piloting. In that case, you will have a friend who has just started, doesn't yet know really how to play the game, and is facing a mess of a lot of abilities that have several interdependencies and procs and synergies and whatnot. It will be then a hard time for your friend to properly learn to play the class and be effective with it. He might not enjoy the bigger effort to learn how to play it and learning the abilities all at once in a single go. Legacy of Juggernaut. The secrets behind Juggernaut's great power were many, and they all but vanished from the galaxy with the Dark Lord's death. Generations of Sith have obsessed over unearthing his ancient teachings and artifacts, but Juggernaut hid them well. Of the relics recovered successfully, the mask of Juggernaut is most recognizable. Darth Baras rediscovered this relic in Juggernaut's tomb while searching for the Star Force space station. Though both the mask of Juggernaut and the mask of Darth Baras have disappeared since. In recent years, Juggernaut's lightsaber was unearthed on Drummond Fells by Darth Baras before his ascension to the Dark Council. Despite these discoveries, Juggernaut's greatest treasures still lie locked away in the far corners of the galaxy, waiting for a new master to claim their power. So the thing is that would be probably reported as not a very enjoyable experience by anybody. And possibly what the developers and publishers will have from that are data that tells them that those players that are brought in and need to learn the game the hard way are not that often players that stay, that it tends to be rare perhaps to find it enjoyable when you start the game in those conditions. Also, those items tend to cost money, and not everybody is going to pay the money it costs to get the level cap boost when they still don't know if they like the game. And so that might turn in a couple of reasons or set of data by which they think giving those players the level boost doesn't really work that much and that often, that well, to get those new players brought in by their friends. But if we don't give that choice, have those level boosts available, then the leveling process takes so damn long. They also end living up, and perhaps even sooner, because they don't see the point at which they will reach to the level of their friends and their friends can't play with them, so it's worthless, the invitation. And if they try to rush it, then they might turn to be balled out. So what is the alternative they have? The alternative they have, and that probably gives them the better numbers of player retention and the better reports of invited players having more fun and being up more, and those who bring players friends when they are already at the top to enjoy the game together better, is if they make it so the new players can level up faster and go through the learning experience of their classes naturally through the leveling. So they make the enemies in the world, they make it easier so they can get through the missions faster with less complexities and make them to earn more experience per kill and per quest, so they don't have to edge through so much content until the point that they are at the max level to play with their friends, unless their friends want to roll an alternate new character from level to level along with them, which probably are not that many that are willing to do that. And that's the consequence. You get MMOs getting easier to play during the leveling process, and the leveling process becomes something that is completely unchallenging. But it's to solve that issue of new players that for one reason or another want or need to catch up to the maximum level because they've been invited by their friends, or because they've got into the game with the aim of playing some of the end game content or whatever.
Step forward. I assume you've completed my task. I will take the holocron now. It is time we judge the purity of your overseer's blood. Time we know how much of the ancients survive in their veins.
I completely agree.
The holocron, it glows white. So little Sith blood in all of the Academy. And only one of the overseers wears the red marks. This is shameful. I will bring this to the attention of the Dark Council. Measures must be taken if the true Sith to survive.
What exactly is your plan?
I'll advise purges and enslavement of those with the thinnest blood, and uplift the pure. It will be the Dark Council's decision, however. You have served well. It is too late for me to alter your training, but in the future, perhaps acolytes will kneel at the feet of the pure-blooded.
Sith pure blood. Although the name Sith is not used by the Order of Force users who call upon the dark side, the term originally referred to a Force-sensitive species of red-skinned humanoids. The term Sith pure blood is now used to distinguish between those descended from the species and the Order itself. The Sith species was discovered 3,000 years ago on Korriban by exiled human Dark Jedi fleeing Republic space after their defeat in a war called the Second Great Schism. The Dark Jedi quickly enslaved the primitive culture, and over many generations the two groups intermingled. Eventually, the elite ruling class of Korriban consisted almost exclusively of the hybridized offspring of the Dark Jedi and the high priests of the Sith people. These offspring tended to exhibit the typical characteristics of their Sith parentites, such as red skin, yellow eyes, bony protrusion of the face or head, and fleshy tendrils dangling from the cheeks and chin. For a brief time, Sith blood was seen as a sign of weakness, but modern empires believes purity of heritage encourages the strength of the Force. Genetically speaking, true pure-blood Sith are virtually extinct, but red skin is still the mark of an Imperial, almost always a Force user, who can trace his own or her ancestry into antiquity. So it simply means that to allow new players to play with both players faster and better. Oops, wrong way. Ragide doesn't have a mission for me yet. What could be done? What is being done nowadays, it seems, is to bring up nostalgia servers that are as they were when this MMO originally appeared. We've seen that with LOTRO, Lord of the Rings Online. Soon we will have WoW Classic. Rift did it.
You did it, didn't you? You got the shards from the tomb, and you're on your way back to Lord Baras.
I didn't even break a sweat.
That's all I needed to hear.
What I think would be an ideal solution that could satisfy both groups, those who want the leveling to be as hard and challenging as it was before, and the ones that want the leveling to be faster so they can catch up to the end game. I think they could add some variable to the characters at creation, where you could set, I want fast or slow experience progression, and then just that they would make your experience to be, they will give you more or less experience without depending on your choice, since it would be impossible to make it so the world's NPCs, the enemies, to change difficulty depending on that, to perhaps with the what's the name, level scaling, perhaps you could bring that value into the calculation of what enemies to spawn harder or easier, if you do it in the way that it affects the enemies that you spawn. Though I guess it's more often that you are brought up or down the level of power, perhaps, but I think I don't know how WoW does it. But then you would be made that simply by the as consequence of you having less experience, you would also be less powerful, as you will be of lesser level when you find some of the enemies than you would if you made it the setting to faster leveling, and that would make something up about giving your challenge back. Perhaps it couldn't do a complete bringing back the old challenge, because there would be the old abilities, your character will have the new abilities and everything that, but at least you will be less of a lower level. and without needing to do something that perhaps could be impossible, like skipping some part. For example, in this game I couldn't be doing now the third planet because without having gone through the second planet. I can go after the second planet. I can choose to know. I have missions for 2 planets, so I can choose to jump into the hardest planets first and then have a cakewalk with the other. But I can't skip the second planet to get to the third, and I can get to the 5th or 6th planets without having done the 4th and the 3rd.
Stop.
Skills loser.
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I tried to get through the tomb, but there were just too many Chirac. I barely escaped. I figured better to ambush you and take your shards. But I see that's just as futile. Vemren is already inside with Baras. All the other acolytes dying. You were my only chance. Now, I'm doomed. I'll never become Sith. Unless I return with the shards, Baras will have me killed.
You were never a Sith.
I'll save Baras the trouble of listening to your whimpering. Die!
In that conversation and those animation is not the first cutscene that I think the same thing. Why was Kayrnix not with the weapon out from the start? We just fought.
Prodigal supplicant returns, and with all the shards from the tomb of Tulak Horde. Superb. It seems your hopes have been dashed, Vemren.
Appearances can be deceptive.
Excuse Vemren, supplicant. He didn't take kindly to turning those young acolytes on him, even though they were only untrained novices.
I hope he's not holding his breath for an apology. A blowhard like him might suffocate.
The tension is thick between you two, a great source of emotion to feed on. I wonder what will happen when it boils over. You both stand on the precipice of becoming Sith. But only one of you will have the opportunity to claim a special lightsaber and serve as my apprentice. I thought it would be you, Vemren, but I've changed my mind.
What? I've done everything you've asked. Better than any of the others. The honor should be mine.
Ignore Vemren, Lord Baras. His world is crumbling around him.
Today, Vemren is every bit your equal. But the Force is stronger with you, Acolyte. There is a power sleeping within you. It was a simple decision. Now, Vemren, go wait in my antechamber for your instructions. This instant. Now I hope you fathom how fortunate you are to be singled out. If you become my apprentice, the galaxy will bend before you.
You're not going to regret this, Baras. I was born to be Sith.
I
The
was born
lightsaber you will
Sith.
seek is old and powerful. It is housed in a forbidden cavern in the tomb of Nargasadao, where few Sith have ever set foot. Almost no one knows how to find the secret entrance, but there is a Twi'lek in the holding pens who was caught breaking in there. I hear she is quite willful. Take her and make her show you the entrance to the forbidden cave.
I will take care of that.
Other acolytes seeking to complete their trials are sent to the tomb, where Academy laws are waived. They will try to murder you. This test will determine if you become Sith. So bolster yourself. To set foot in the tomb of Nargasadao is to breathe in death itself.
New gloves that are obviously better than what I have. And now we are on the way to get our first companion. Though it is not as long time passed from other videos of previous chapters, I think I might stop this chapter after getting the companion, because if I get to finish this next quest, perhaps the chapter will drag on way too much.
Ouch! Give it a rest, will ya?
I'm getting my fill of fun while I still can, slave. As if on cue, look who's back. Word is you might become Lord Barris's apprentice. Nice work if you can get it. So, I hear you'll be relieving me of this Twi'lek. She's a pain in the neck.
Ha! Who's a pain in the neck? I'm the one wearing a shock collar.
Consider that a going away present, Twi'lek. Seems you might be useful for something after all. This bruiser is taking you into the tomb where we caught you.
None of you can figure out how to activate the tomb statues to open the Forbidden Cavern, huh? You got some kind of business in that secret Sith chamber, do you?
Some kind of disabled, but he would be really meaning a lowly slave to make that question. What she to her, she wouldn't even understand.
Yes, and I'd appreciate your help.
Don't bother being pleasant. Here, kid, take the shock control collar. I'll set it to a high level. Use it enough, she'll show you the back door to her mother's house.
I suppose I can play tomb tour guide. A lot of work went into cracking that nut, but I did it once. I can do it again. So we're clear. I'm officially on strike when it comes to domestic duties.
Well, let's give this higher setting a test run.
Okay, that's worse. Stop!
Yes, this guy
I'll
is
take you
not
to the
going to
unlocking
be
points
killed
throughout the tomb, and then open the secret door for you.
to
Just lead
it.
the way.
Red warrior.
All better.
A Twi'lek born into slavery on the planet Ryloth. Red escaped a life of servitude to become an accomplished rogue and treasure hunter. To daring for her own good, she managed to breach Imperial defenses and sneak into Corriban, gaining entry into the most sacred Sith tombs before being caught. Years of travel and close calls have made Fred quick with a blaster. Outspoken, uppity, and unfiltered, she can be fiercely loyal or relentlessly taxing, making her a source of annoyance to some and of great amusement to others. Likes anti-authority behavior, protecting the weak, treasure, and getting paid. Dislikes bullying, killing innocents, kissing up. Primary weapon, dual blaster pistol. We are now very close to the 11th level. Wait, anyway, I will check if this Sith has still no mission. I wonder, they shouldn't have removed that quest. As final comment on the difficulty of MMOs. That's not the month I wanted to unlock, but whatever. Even when you hear so much Tomb of Nagasatao, Nagasada was ruled by ambition. Ambition for power, for dominance, and for the expansion of the Sith Empire. Mark Arachnos' body was still warm when Nagasada clashed with Sith Lord Ludo Kress over their late ruler's title. The spirit of Mark Arachnos interrupted their duel and told the two Sith Lords of a greater enemy, the Republic and its Jedi defenders. Nagasada saw opportunity in this revelation and launched an attack on Republic space, a move that would see SWTOR named the Empire's ruler and spark the Great Hyperspace War. Nagasada's ambition and overconfidence soon became his greatest weakness. Even with his mastery of Force illusions, the Republic outmatched the Sith. SWTOR's invasion failed, and the Republic fleet pursued him back to Sith space. He fled Korriban with his warriors as the Sith Empire crumbled around him. SWTOR sought refuge on the remote moon Yavin 4, where he died after spending years trying to rebuild the empire he had inadvertently helped to destroy. Nagasadaw's spirit, however, survived to pass on Sith teachings, planting the seeds of corruption among his Jedi enemies. Well, so much agreement about the game's being easier, but whenever there's a game out that is hard, the general reaction of everybody is to complain. That is too hard.
Just like I left it, this place is still ultra creepy.
In one of SWTOR Central videos, he said that the forums, I almost never visit forums of games and such, but he says that there was some complaints, well, several complaints. The reaction was very negative to the latest raid operation in Ossus. The Hive Queen, the Generation Hive Queen. I've tried twice in the veteran mode with my main character. I have not been able to complete it because both times players didn't know what to do, and people weren't just doing paying the needed attention to the red circles of that ability that the Queen uses. It is a bit of a chaotic wrong way. And in the story mode is quite easy. The Story mode I've been in that a few times, and I have completed it with the groups without any issue at all. And to be honest, I think that's a good thing. I like that it is hard to complete. But according to that video, people are very unhappy about it. That is what happens every time.
This is it. The secret entrance to the hidden cavern is in here. Just let me get my bearings.
And there is Fembrim sent by Darth Baras without doubt.
Take your time, slave. Just have the entrance uncovered by the time I've finished.
Slave? I'm not a slave, you bastard.
You'll do nothing of the sort. Fitting that you meet your end in a tomb, Veteran.
My passions run deeper than yours. I am the true essence of
Why
what it
does
is to
he
be sick.
sheath his weapon?
My legacy has suffered long enough. After today, you will be forgotten. It ends here and now.
You're good to go.
Becoming Barris's apprentice was my destiny. Did I come this far and overcome such adversity, only to be proven unworthy?
I have waited a long time to put you in your place. Consider this. Killing you was easy.
Then do it. Finish me.
Wow. Nice work.
Just find the Forbidden Cavern.
I already have. See? The secret entrance is right here.
This would have been a bit more impressive if it hadn't have that initial glitch showing the room
You're welcome.
before opening.
Bite that tongue of yours, slave.
Consider it bitten.
Boo-hoo, games are so easy. Then boo, this game is so hard. Why it is so hard? Weren't you asking them to be hard? No, it seems you after all doesn't want it hard. In World of Warcraft, with the new expansion. Negasta's spirit survived, but it's not here because I think it's his spirit that we meet in Knights of the Old Republic. Is it not? Finally, the lightsaber with the serf. Exit the Forbidden Caves. In BFA, Battle for Azeroth, at the start they went through this idea that they didn't want damage numbers being so high as they were becoming, and so they changed the damage that was dealt by abilities. And the defenses of enemies, of NPCs, mobs and bosses in dungeons. I will keep travel so it doesn't get beyond 1 hour by much. The result was that they didn't quite get it right, and bosses' defenses weren't properly scaled with the new damage calculations, and that made the bosses of the dungeons to
You're good to go.
be more dangerous. They didn't take as much damage, they did not
You murderer!
cause
My
much
father was a
less.
staunch traditionalist, and he was especially hard on me. But he's my blood. Did you think you could kill him and get away with it?
I wasn't worried about the consequences.
Then you don't deny it. You killed him.
How else would I have his ring? See?
I'm going to rip that ring from your steaming corpse.
I'm going to add your ring to the collection.
You'll rue the day you took his life. Attack!
Come on, bring it!
no loot from these losers. Well, I think dungeons that were up to then a cakewalk become challenging and hard and difficult. And
I
there
am
was
beside myself. Not only did you get the Twi'lek to cooperate, but you completed the task and claimed the ancient lightsaber. Venran was not in my chamber as I instructed. I take it he sought to stop you and claim the ancient weapon as his own.
He did. Now his carcass feeds the tomb's beasts.
Bravo! I see you may indeed become one of the strongest Sith in the galaxy. Your trials are over. You are now my apprentice.
It took you long enough.
Mind your tone, my young initiate. This is only the beginning. With you as my right hand, we shall strike fear into the Empire's enemies. I must convene with the Emperor and inform him of your progress. This shuttle pass will take you to Drummond Cos. Meet me at the Citadel there.
As you decree, my lord.
Take the Twi'lek slave as my gift. Do with her as you wish. If she'll be of use, by all means take her with you to Drummond Cos.
customization. I will leave here to be blue. Well, eventually Blizzard in a patch made it back to being as easy as it was previously. So that there is that. For as many complaints as there are about games being easy, in reality there are not so many people that honestly when challenged, and Versir Guide still have no mission for me. That's the same, I guess, that's looked not only
You're good to go.
behind what point of the story you are, but also by the level you are at the moment. So I went past the level of that quest before reaching the story point to get that quest, which is a shame because that was one of the harder fights at this planet, not counting the heroics.
Please use all products only as intended.
And this is going to be all for today. In the next chapter, we will be traveling to the fleet, picking the crafting professions. But before we finish, I have to read the latest skill. Cyan form. Utilize an aggressive lightsaber form, increasing all damage dealt by 6% and movement speed by 15%. All attacks that consume rage will refund one range when used. Replaces C2 form. No check trainer, nothing new. So this is all for today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.